Hello everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan. I'm Ben.
Today we're going to talk about Legends from DC Comics. We did a episode about Crisis on Infinite Earths, which for DC was their first massive event/continuity reboot.
Yeah.
And then 8 months later they thought, hey, we've got this brand new fertile ground where we can retell the stories of our most beloved characters. We should have lots of time to let them roam and develop. No, let's do an event now. Let's do an event.
Set it all in stone.
Yeah, now. So they did, and it was called Legends. It was 86. Everyone who was working on Crisis pretty much worked on this. This is written by John Ostrander and Len Wein. Ostrander kind of came up with the story. Len Wein kind of wrote the scripts. And it's drawn by John Byrne, who at the time was also cultivating the Man of Steel book, which was like Superman's kind of retroactive origin. He's like, I'm redoing the origin. Just like Frank Miller was redoing Batman's origin.
Yeah.
And within the pages of Legends, you got like references to the new continuity where they're like, you know, this is Batman. You know, like just an image of Batman. And it's just like, this is Batman.
This is what he looks like now.
I don't know if you know who he is.
He's kind of a big deal.
Because everything's different.
Yeah.
In an undetermined way. So
But I liked it. It was a fun way to be like, yeah, I don't know who the fuck Batman is. What are you doing? And then you read the book and you're like, oh, shit, I thought I knew who Batman was, but Frank Miller just told me a thing or two in comic form. But yeah, so we're kind of building that world. And so everything's kind of new and different.
Everyone
but
had a weird
familiar
frown on their face.
Yeah, that's just because John Byrne draws that. That's
They're
how
very serious.
Yeah.
Except for Guy Gardner.
Who is sneering constantly.
Is this a separate title, or is it told within the pages of Justice League?
Okay,
or what are we
so
doing here?
Legends is a 6-issue miniseries with about a dozen tie-ins. Mm-hmm. All of them permeating throughout the various super titles.
Right.
Superman had some tie-ins. Batman had 2. You know, and many others.
Were they any better at doing tie-ins back then?
When they started?
They were less consumed with making it. No. They were almost exactly the same.
No, it's the same exact thing.
The story opens on Apocalypse and Darkseid. He controls Apocalypse and he's a badass and he's awesome. And it's funny because for me as a kid, I always didn't get Darkseid.
Right.
I still don't get them.
You know what you need to do? You need to watch the Superman animated series. Then you get Darkseid.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's, for me, what actually made me give a shit. Because forever, I just saw this stone-faced gargoyle man sitting on a rock in space going, I'm the greatest. I'm like, well, you should prove that in some way. You should do something worth a damn.
In what way are you the greatest?
Yeah. The greatest at, selling your own PR? Or the greatest at inflating your... Yeah,
lived.
Exactly. So he actually has...
If that's his tagline, I'm the greatest, and no one challenges him on
Right?
it.
No, I guess he is, by definition.
Darkseid is almost his own perfect candidate for the hype man experience. He's always got one hand behind his back. He's just stoically looking off. Meanwhile, Desaad in his little robes like, oh!
Well, he is made of stone.
Yeah.
Is
I
he?
mean, okay, no. He's not like a rock man. He just has a gross face and body.
Okay, that's not a gross face. That's a gray, chiseled face.
Yes, it is.
But it's also gross, though.
He is gross because as Ben says, he looks like a rock.
And he has these giant brows.
But he's flesh and
Yeah,
bone,
but
so.
that's Jack. It's a holdover from Jack Kirby's design. A lot of Jack Kirby drawings have these really pronounced forward brows. Anyway,
It makes him look like a caveman.
yeah. But as a kid, I never really dug Darkseid. I never got it. First of all, he was wearing a tunic, and I was like, pfft.
Yeah, his outfit is real boring.
Yeah. But when they changed it for the New 52, I was like, I miss that costume so bad. Because then they gave him armor with an Omega symbol, on his freaking belt buckle and his face. I'm like, I miss when he was just like, I am Darkseid. I wear what I like. I don't have to impress you.
I wear my pajamas.
And I look like a squire from the medieval
Exactly,
century.
he does. But he's a badass, and so. But I never got it, and so when I would see Legends, because I was like, it intrigued me. I had one issue from Legends when I was like a little kid, and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
It had
Right.
everybody in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first issue, right?
No, it was issue I think it was issue 2.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't know what's happening, and it was a little too esoteric for me at that age. But even then, I'm like, oh, Darkseid's in it. Pfft, I don't care. And then I think I caught the Superman animated series in like the early 90s, and I was like, oh.
Oh, he's super badass.
Yeah, and not just because he says it. It's
Right.
because like he's a slow bird. He always talks about what a badass he is. If he says anything...
I mean, he has his own action figure collection.
Yes, he does.
He's playing with his toys.
Yeah, it's weird, but
Yeah.
that's what he does.
It's weird because then he breaks one of them.
Well, yeah, because he's so mad.
Like he has them to be like, nah, if only I could do this to you all the time. Ah.
Yeah.
Is
well,
it like with the military, you got the map and you're pushing the pieces around?
No, he has a machine that seemingly only produces constructs out of nothingness, and he makes like action figures of the Justice League. On sale now from Kenner Superpowers.
It's a real weird dark side.
It's just a way to illustrate, like, I'm bigger than you and I could crush you with my hands.
Right.
But
Anyway,
you frustrate me.
so he's talking about how he's so great, and he, like, took over Apocalypse, and he runs this place, blah, blah, blah. And then Desaad, his lowly servant, is like, yes, but, and the planet Earth continually vexes you. And he's like, yes, thank you for reminding me, Desaad. Now, he needs somebody to push the buttons and turn the dials. And then he's like, you know what? I've got a plan, and it's gonna be awesome. It's called Operation Humiliation.
That sounds like a goddamn board game.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So then he calls upon his greatest servants, Dr. Bedlam and Glorious Godfrey.
Any
Which-
relation to Gilbert Godfrey?
No, but we can imagine that Glorious Godfrey has the same voice as Gilbert Godfrey from here
Of
on
course, that's what I'm doing.
out. But
I haven't heard him say
but
anything.
by the way, Lil Sal, if he picked this up and like, nope.
Nope. Done.
Nope.
Stupid
Oh yes,
names.
I am so badass, and now call upon my greatest warriors, Fluffykins, and like, god damn it, Glorious Godfrey. And by the way, not the first time these characters have appeared; they've been around since the '60s. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well,
That's why
clearly,
they have stupid names. They've
But-
been around since the 60s.
Yeah, but characters, but readers during this time. Oh no,
Dr. Bedlam!
Dr. Bedlam. Like, god damn it. So.
Is Mr. Chaos there as well?
No. Chaos is way too antagonistic.
Ah.
Then we go to New York, where, you know, that was end of prologue. Oh. So, you know,
wow, that's really set up.
Darkseid makes an empty threat and then calls his lamest named characters to his side.
Who presumably are always there.
Oh no, it's great. No, he says, like, call to me, Dr. Bedlam and Glorious Godfrey. And Desaad says, yes, I reminded you about Planet Earth because I wanted you to use them in your plan. That's why they're here so quickly. Like, no, they address why. They immediately respond to Darkseid's beck and call in an impossible amount of time. Just say that there's some time between the panels. That's what
Right?
everyone does. For no reason, Desaad's like, I did that. And you're like, thanks.
It's weird.
Thanks, Desaad. You
It's because I care.
you
It's because he was afraid that Darkseid wouldn't actually do anything.
Right.
So he wanted to make sure that they were there so that Darkseid would have to, like, actually...
Oh, shit, well,
Oh,
if-
they're here. Well, I guess I was just bullshitting about there
Right,
being a
but I
plan.
guess-
I'll come up with one now.
Right.
You brought them all the way.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's why I called it Operation Humiliation. I didn't have anything, man.
No, I
What am
was
supposed to do?
humiliated.
Dress them up in clown suits?
Right? It is. His plan is
I have a brilliant plan. It requires... But unfortunately, it requires...
Dr. Bedlam
Dr.
and
Bedlam
Glorious Godfrey
and
at the
Glorious
same
Godfrey.
time.
And they're not here,
Master,
so...
Master, I already had them prepared.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
great. Thank
Really-
you. Thank you very much.
He's really
now,
gonna-
I can tell you
What my
about
plan is.
Plan.
Right. So then we go to Earth and New York, and there's super science going on. We meet up with Martin Stein. And Martin Stein is 50% of Firestorm.
Oh.
Because,
Cool. I forgot about him.
yeah, Firestorm... Well, everybody forgets about Firestorm, unless you're a
Because it's
huge...
two people.
Then there's Ronnie Raymond, who's like the young, hip consciousness of Fire. The idea is that there's two dudes, they get fused together, they become Firestorm. And because Stein was unconscious during the fusing, he has to be in the background.
So Einstein got screwed over.
Yeah, but Stein can call Firestorm whenever he wants. So, like...
Oh.
So the reactor they're working on explodes into a giant fire monster named Brimstone.
What?
Was that the purpose of their reactor?
No, they weren't like...
It was an accident.
Yeah.
They accidentally created life
No,
in this
no.
reactor.
This
Oh
is
my
all-
god, that's amazing.
This
Oh,
is,
it's part of the
oh no,
plan.
this is part 1 of Operation Humiliation. You see,
Oh.
Darkseid put like a seed into the reactor, and because it was like a kind of nuclear reactor, it creates like this nuclear creature.
Right.
And Brimstone is actually he's a really neat villain because he looks really cool. But the
He's
idea
like a giant, right?
yeah, he's a giant. No, he
okay.
blasts right out of there. Brimstone is like a zealot who believes that he is like a fallen angel that is acting destructively on behalf of like an angry god. And he's not far off because
that's
Darkseid
basically
created him, but he doesn't know that like it's also like a stone-faced dick on a faraway planet.
Yeah, he's actually like a guy who
yeah,
walks
but can be
around.
defeated.
He's got godlike powers.
Right,
He does.
Kinda.
So does
Arguable.
Brimstone, though.
Yes, Brimstone actually could probably fight Darkseid, but no, because Brimstone actually could get his ass trounced, and we'll explain why in the future. Firestorm fights Brimstone, and then Brimstone just hands him his ass.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a cool fight between the Flash and Deadshot
Okay.
of Suicide Squad infamy.
Right.
Okay, but I mean, we didn't resolve anything with.
No, but
Brimstone.
we're Legends is a story
gotta
about
take a
all
while.
these characters,
Yeah.
Ben. You gotta get all. You gotta
You
set
gotta
up
check
all
in
the
with
pieces.
each one of them. Yeah.
You can't just no. We can't wrap up one plot and then start the next one. We gotta have 6 plots going at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't
That
worry,
can't get confusing in any
it
way.
doesn't because they're all part of the same plot. Darkseid's a dick. That's it. Like there's one plot. It's just that we're coalescing all the characters.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
So
not
Bring
like
the
he
team
paid.
together to fight this threat.
Yeah,
He
kind of.
didn't
gotta
pay
see what they
Deadshot to be fighting.
No,
No,
Deadshot
no.
does not factor into Darkseid's
It's just
schemes.
like Flash is always fighting someone. There's
Yeah.
a good chance at any given moment.
Meanwhile-
Flash is fight- yeah.
to the Hall of Justice. Yeah. Wally West upgrade to the Flash.
Oh yes.
Former Kid Flash and member of the Titans. Now he's the Flash because he said, "I've got to be the Flash" because Barry died to save the universe.
Yeah.
And it was only 8 months ago, so yeah. So he does, and so he's trying his best, but
Well, he beats Deadshot. It looks like.
he does defeat Deadshot. But
Who's firing bullets?
there's
He's super fast. Come on.
He's
Yeah,
not
it's-
that fast in this continuity because Wally winds up getting his speed reduced, so he's only as fast as the speed of sound. They felt like when they got Barry out of the off the table, they were like, "Oh, let's make Flash more relatable, and a little less like impossibly fast."
Right.
So he's still impossibly fast,
Yeah.
but relative to Barry,
You could imagine defeating him.
yes, he's only as fast as
Come
the
up
speed
with
of
a plan
sound.
that might
Yeah,
be able to
and
defeat.
he's like, man, like that took too long. He's having self doubt
Oh.
about becoming the Flash.
Right.
People see through. They're like, you're not Barry. They don't know it's Barry, but they're like, are you a different Flash?
Yeah, Barry's a lot faster.
Yeah.
I mean, are
I thought-
random people on the street doing that to him?
Yeah, like he defeats Deadshot, and then all the fucking passerby come by, and they're like, "Didn't the Flash used to be taller? Who the hell do you think you are?" He's like, "Damn it,
I just saved all your asses.
yeah." But instead of doing that, he runs back to his former headquarters at Titan's Tower just to like hang out with his friends because he's feeling weird.
Oh.
And the only one that's there is Changeling, aka Beast Boy. He's like, "Hey man, being the Flash is hard. I don't know if I want to be the Flash. Like, I feel like it's weird, like living up
Yeah.
to a legacy." Oh, that's Legends. Thought it was called Legacies for a second, but in any event, he's like,
legend.
a legend. Yeah, it does. He actually does say legends. Like he's like, it's hard to live up to the legend of Barry Allen. So and then Changeling just goes, screw the Flash. He died. Just change your outfit to blue, and you'll be the Blue Bolt or something. Who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever.
what does it
You'll be the
fucking
streak.
matter?
And he's like, no, I can't do that. You don't understand. I'm not here to actually get advice. I'm here to complain. Like, he doesn't say that, but that's obvious what's
Right.
happening. Meanwhile, Beast Boy or Changeling or whatever has been watching television, and on TV, and this is why I chose this book, because it's kind of like relevant, even though it took place in '86. On TV, there is this jackass named G. Gordon Godfrey.
Okay.
And he is like a television personality who is drumming up anti-superhero rhetoric. We're talking about how like the superheroes are unrelatable. These superheroes are all like above us. They're taking their hoity-toity powers and they're lording them over us. We should get rid of these superheroes and live on a planet full of regular humans.
We should have a superhero registration act so we
Yeah.
can keep an eye on
No,
them.
he doesn't want that. He just wants them out.
He wants them to go away.
Just make them go away.
He just wants them to be murdered?
He's just
or...
he hasn't
No, fine.
suggested anything.
Oh, I
Find something to
I'm just
say.
asking the questions. I'm not saying.
I'm not the guy that comes up with the plan.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
I'm just
our,
saying we have a problem.
our leaders need to do something about this because it's a real problem. And a young Billy Batson is in the audience, and he's like, "Just shove it up your ass. You don't know what you're talking about."
He's in the audience of this weird TV show?
Yeah. It's like a kind of like Jerry
He
Springer.
just happens to
type
be
show.
there. It's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah. Well, yes, because we're also reestablishing Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, in the new DC continuity.
Sure.
Right.
So, like, let's debut Shazam.
All right.
So
does he have a confrontation with the guy that proves his point that superheroes are like dangerous and superior?
Well, let's find out. The lights go out and they lose the broadcast.
Oh.
And under cover of darkness, Billy Batson ducks backstage and then calls upon the power of Shazam.
To change the fuse!
Yeah, no, he goes outside to take a look at what's going on. And as Captain Marvel, he goes outside and there's a giant monster named Macro-Man. Not a monster, but like a big dude named Macro-Man, who's really Dr. Bedlam in disguise. And he is laying waste to the city. And so Captain Marvel fights him.
Sure.
And then Macro-Man, like, holds him down, like, on top of a roof or whatever. And he's like, oh no, I'm too big and awesome to break free from his grasp. But young Billy Batson could slip through his fingers easily. So he calls upon the power of Shazam. The lightning bolt comes, it hits Macro-Man, and it fucking kills him. It burns him alive in front of everybody. And he's like, oh my god! I killed Macro-Man! And I love that they keep referring to Macro-Man. Poor Macro-Man, this character we just created for this story. But they killed Macro-Man, and you're like... And so...
Good!
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, the people are like, what the hell's the matter with you, Captain Marvel? Like, you called on lightning to melt your foes? That's how we solve problems here? Meanwhile, G. Gordon Godfrey's like, nah! So, Operation Humiliation is Darkseid's plan to undermine the trust in superheroes.
Yeah.
So he knew that Shazam was going to try to turn back into Billy Batson while fighting and being on top of
Macro-Man.
Yeah, that's the part I have a problem with.
Yes, and by the way, it could have been anything. Like, it could have been like, well, we'll just hope that Captain Marvel will use excessive force to defeat him or something.
Right.
No.
I don't even know that Captain Marvel would even be there. It could have been somebody else. It could have been someone who could beat him without killing him.
No, Darkseid has like a crystal ball, like the Wicked Witch of the West, and he can see what's going on. He knows that Billy Batson is Captain Marvel.
Okay, that's part of the plan.
Yes.
Okay.
So this guy's dead. So Dr. Bedlam...
It's an illusion or something. No, he's dead.
No, Dr. Bedlam can't die, technically. Well, he can, but he can be resurrected. So Dr. Bedlam experiences death as the Macro-Man. He goes back to Apocalypse, and he's like traumatized from his experience of death. And Darkseid's like, yeah, granted goodness, knock that make him fucking knock that shit off. It's really depressing everybody. He's got to get back to work. Like,
does he do this every time?
I don't know.
Was this the first time he's died?
I think it's the first time that Dr. Bedlam's died.
Wow.
Because he can't cope.
It happened.
I think it's more like, oh my god, I'm melting. Like,
Right.
I was struck by lightning.
I experienced incredible pain.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Meanwhile, in the government, a new character named Amanda Waller calls up a guy named Flag. And she is recruiting him to join a brand new task force. Task Force X.
Yay!
For a kind of suicide mission that she'd like him to go on.
So it's some kind of suicide mission?
They say it at the end of the thing. This is the debut of the Suicide Squad.
That's crazy.
Now, the Suicide Squad had existed in the 60s, but like the Suicide Squad that anyone recognizes, that is about like taking villains and making them into like doing good, and that they've got like bombs on them, and that Amanda Waller's in charge.
Right.
It's all right here.
So this is the reimagining of the post-crisis Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And we already had a character that died. It's perfect.
Yeah. There's another character that dies too. Meanwhile, Cosmic Boy from the Legion of Superheroes is back from the 30th century to go on a date. Because apparently Legionnaires like to go back in time, like we go to the museum or like the zoo.
Sure, yeah, but he's got to go on a date because, like, he doesn't have to date her.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Time.
But
Cosmic... you could just leave her in the past.
Yeah, why not? Later. And then, like, knock her up and be his own grandfather.
Yeah.
But,
it's you!
So Cosmic Boy fights Brimstone, because Firestorm's, down for the count.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we see the first of the same move that Brimstone will use to defeat his foes, where Brimstone, like, punches a building and debris falls on Cosmic Boy, which like pretty much like knocks him like off of the table.
Oh.
But then he is joined by the lamest version of the Justice League since the last lamest version of the Justice League, which includes such memorable characters like Vibe and Vixen and Steel and Gypsy, because Firestorm called them, because he's also a member of the Justice League, led by Martian Manhunter, which maybe you've heard of.
Yeah.
Also the Elongated Man. So
I
it's
remember
just
him.
yeah.
Well, thank God they all say their own names.
Yeah, they do. Well, that way you know who they are.
So is this the Justice League that was formed post-Crisis?
Yeah.
Okay.
The worst Justice League.
Yeah, these guys aren't legends at all.
No. And that's the point.
Ah.
So these lame asses fight Brimstone. Brimstone knocks a building on top of all of them. We don't see them for the rest of the book.
Yay!
But in the aftermath of Dr. Bedlam's untimely demise at the hands of Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
like all these passerby see this decaying, rotting, smoking heap of a person,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Good Lord Almighty! Like that's the worst thing I've ever seen." And so Billy Batson is afraid to become Captain Marvel.
Oh.
And he's like, I've murdered a man.
Right.
And I don't want to do that again because I was careless. And Darkseid's like, nah! What? Strike one! That's why that's the first action figure he breaks. It's like paralleling what's going to happen. The press shows up at the smoking husk of this dead man. And
this gigantic dead man who was terrorizing the city.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
still was killed by a superhero.
He still looked like a man, though.
Yep. And
We don't take kindly to that.
And they call in G. Gordon Godfrey to, like, espouse his opinion on the subject.
Sure. Because he's right there.
Yeah, well, because it's also, like, outside of the,
Yeah.
the
studio.
TV studio that he was in anyway, so it stands to
Yeah,
reason. It
yeah,
would make
Hey,
sense.
Billy, just hug Godfrey and say Shazam again.
Right? Just melt
Yeah,
him. No, I'm afraid! So he runs away. But he says, like, he's explaining, and he makes a pretty compelling argument against superheroes if you were trying to think of it in terms of real life.
Sure.
But it's funny because he's on television. Of course, they're giving him a platform through which he can spread his hate.
Yep.
And by the way, Glorious Godfrey's power, because they all have powers,
Right.
is that he can influence people's minds with his voice.
Oh. Well,
Oh, so
that's
this
handy.
is just Godfrey.
Yeah.
Or Glorious Godfrey.
Yeah, Glorious Godfrey is G.
Yeah.
Gordon Godfrey. Yeah,
Yeah, obviously.
He's just hidden in the guise of this person.
And so he makes a compelling argument, but he doesn't really need to.
No. No, he makes a compelling argument, but he doesn't have to. But he still works at it.
Right.
And he doesn't have to try too hard. But because he has TV and
Right.
public opinion, he can really kind of spread his message further than he ever could before.
So how long did Darkseid plan on this show going on? Did he set up the seasons a
planned
few
it
years
there for
back?
years?
You're like, look, I'm going to put you on Earth.
It's just
You're
one
gonna have a
episode.
you're just going to have a talk show.
This was the
Yeah.
debut episode of this guy's show.
Yeah, I guess so.
How did he arrange for that? Did he
Right?
How did he get that greenlit by the studio?
How did G. Gordon Godfrey sign his W-2s to get this job? You just showed up. You have no social security card. You're just a guy.
Well, I guess he would use his ability to convince people to put
You
him on
don't
the
need
air.
to see my identification.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and by the way,
Alright.
every issue of Legends reiterates what happened in the last issue of Legends.
Okay.
So you get to the point where
Fucking enough.
where they dedicate just the whole bottom row of the book to summing up things.
Okay.
But that's around the time when the Phantom Stranger shows up. And the Phantom Stranger is a semi-omniscient being who looks like a crime fighter from the 20s.
Yeah.
And he could be a god or an angel or Judas Iscariot or any number of characters.
Okay.
They've never really told you who the Phantom Stranger is, but he can blink in and out of existence, and he can go anywhere he wants. He doesn't seem to.
What's his alignment?
Power?
Seems to be a good alignment, but
Okay.
neutral.
Okay.
If he had to pick a side, he would pick good, but most of the time he just stands off.
Yeah, he's a little bit like the Watcher, but more proactive.
Okay.
Actually, he's less proactive than the Watcher. The
Well, that's saying a lot.
The Watcher should be less proactive, but isn't. Uatu is an aberration.
Right.
The Phantom Stranger's a better Watcher than Uatu.
That's because Earth is just so fascinating.
Yeah.
Is he like the green guy, the cloak?
The Spectre?
The Spectre?
They do bump elbows.
Okay.
But the Phantom Stranger shows up to illustrate the theme of God and the devil having a wager because they themselves have, it's the story of Job,
Oh, okay.
but with no Jobian trapping.
Wait,
Yeah.
the Phantom Stranger has a wager with Darkseid?
Yeah, where like Darkseid's like, look, the people will turn on the heroes, and the heroes will have to like stop and go away, and then I will destroy the earth. And Phantom Stranger's like, the people will not betray their heroes. Like,
Okay.
I bet that good will prevail is
Yeah.
my end result. And Darkseid's like, well, let's see how that goes. And they don't like make it interesting. I have no idea what the stakes are for them. But and by
Well,
the
It's one
in the story of
dollar.
Job, they don't either.
No,
Like,
there's
no stakes there either.
exactly.
So.
But it's weird that they make it like a parallel with the story of Job because the heroes, I guess, like the blemishes and like tormenting of Job, or like the public opinion of the heroes or something. It's really
Right, like they're
strange.
given every reason to turn against the heroes, and then they
and then they don't.
Okay,
They
but
don't.
the people turned against Shazam
Joe?
immediately.
Oh yeah, no, they do, and it comes to a head.
okay.
So the Justice League fights Brimstone. They get their asses kicked.
I mean, that should be it. It's just like, they turn against him.
Yeah.
Look what
I
you've
won.
done! Oh my
But
god!
what's great is, the Suicide Squad also was formed while this is happening. Rick Flag calls up Deadshot, who was just arrested
Yep.
thanks to the Flash, and Deadshot's like, I'm in. I'm serving a life sentence. Whatever you want to do. Let's do this.
What's
So-
Amanda Waller's goal? Is she specifically trying to defeat a monster or
Yeah,
something?
they want to kill Brimstone.
Okay, it's about Brimstone. Okay.
Yeah, it's so great. G. Gordon Godfrey's on TV being like, the heroes are blah, blah, blah. Look at the poor Molten Man, or whatever the hell his name is. And meanwhile, there's a big flaming demon smashing buildings. And by the way, like, Firestorm, and then a building falls on him. Then the Justice League, and then the building falls on them. And he's just, like, walking through the whole, like, United States, and everyone's just like, gee, these superheroes, honey... This G. Gordon Godfrey fellow has a point. Like, there's a monster over there, and it's smashing everything. And the only person who seems to give a shit is Amanda Waller, who develops a special gun that can kill Brimstone.
What? How did she do that?
Doesn't matter. So, meanwhile,
Where's Superman?
where is Superman? Indeed. There's a mall getting shot up in Gotham, and Batman and Robin come in and kick their ass.
Okay.
How dare they?
It's great. No, it will.
Is
Yes.
the mall getting shut up because they're like, Brimstone's destroyed everything.
No.
Nothing means anything, Mom. Like, the end is nigh.
Yeah, these shoes are mine. No, it's just an asshole.
Okay.
And Batman shows up, kicks his ass, and then the SWAT shows up.
Okay.
And the SWAT's like, hey, Batman, we had a whole thing. Like, what's the matter with you? And Gordon's like, get over it, dude. Like, chill out. He's like, yo, you've been coddling Batman forever, you dick.
Oh,
like,
my
blah, blah, blah.
God.
And then the public is like, hey, why is Gordon getting in the way of that SWAT agent? Like, what the hell's going on? So it's devolving
yeah,
very quickly.
it's falling apart.
And
wheels are coming off.
and then, like, Robin is too close to the people, and the mob just pulls Robin in, and Batman's like, oh shit, I gotta stop him. And then Batman gets hit in the face with a perfume bottle, and he's blinded, and then Gordon's like, my men will get Robin. He's like, no. And they're like, and Gordon's like, just this once, my old friend, you have to trust me. So he leads Batman into a squad car and gets him to safety, and Robin is beaten into unconsciousness, and eventually they find him, and he barely survives, and they put him in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
See how good we did?
Yeah, you're
See?
welcome. What? And by the way, it's 86 going into 87. It's Jason Todd Robin. It's prelude.
Oh,
like in a couple of
jeez.
years, Robin is gonna get beaten again.
Jason Todd's having a really rough time.
He does have a rough time, but he does have a very saccharine message at the end. So
You said this was 86,
86.
to 87?
yeah,
Okay, so this is...
it's the end of 86 into 87.
How does this... Because this reminds me of Watchmen, so where does this fit?
Around the same time.
Around the same time. Interesting.
Yes.
The whole, like, superheroes are the bad guys.
Yeah, because Alan Moore couldn't use the old Charleston characters, so he had to create his own. But then DC acquired the Charleston characters anyway, which is why Blue Beetle's in this book.
Ah. Is that him?
Yeah.
It was an apt time for that to come up.
I know.
All right.
So Ted Core Blue Beetle, he's doing his thing. He's trying to help people. He busts up like a drug deal, and then the cops show up and they're like, "We were tracing this guy, and he was going to lead us to his supplier." And then the drug dealer's like, "Well, yeah, and this blue guy is my supplier." And the cops and Blue Beetle's like, no, and then just like leaves.
Oh no, it's time for me to escape and not prove my innocence.
Yeah.
Well, that was easy to take Blue Beetle off the table.
A commercial airliner's like engine explodes, And Guy Gardner, the only Green Lantern of Sector 2814, which is Earth, or rather the Milky Way, jumps onto the scene, uses his ring to protect it. There's one piece of the shrapnel from the plane that is yellow, which goes through the shield and hits him in the face.
Oh, yes.
And then he is almost knocked unconscious. Then he's like, "Oh crap!" And then he uses his the last bit of will to grab the plane with a giant green hand and then land it anywhere he can. And he lands it in the middle of rush hour traffic.
Okay.
And everyone gets out of the car and they're like, "What the hell's the matter with you? You couldn't land it in a freaking in a lake or on a field? Like you had to pick the middle of like 4 p.m. traffic, you dick."
And the pilot's also like, "This was a plane full of mass murderers and psychopaths.
Right.
We were trying to crash."
They're all leaving. Like, no, but what's funny is everybody who encounters the mob is like, "Oh no!" Guy Gardner's like, "Fuck you." Nah, like uses his ring to push everyone out of his way and then leaves. Guy Gardner is uninterested in the politics of the situation. He has never cared if anyone likes him or not, and that works out great because he's a huge dick. Where is Superman? He's at the White House hobnobbing with Ronald Reagan, the president of the United States, and Reagan's like, "Well, Superman, looks like we're in a dilly of a pickle right now. The people are really upset." And Superman's like, "What would you like me to do, Mr. President?" He's like, "Well, Gordon Godfrey's got a good suggestion, an executive order that bans all superheroes. Yeah, I'm afraid we're gonna have to do that." So Reagan immediately rolls over and signs an executive order banning superheroes from acting in the United States of America. And he's like,
about right.
and he's like, "That includes you, Superman." And Superman's like, "Oh no."
What?
So Superman does nothing.
Well, he has to listen to the president.
Yep.
He doesn't ask, like, "But what about Brimstone?
Nope.
What's your plan for defeating Brimstone?"
And maybe his plan is the Suicide Squad.
I guess he
But
knows.
he seemingly has no idea, and like he would conveniently not recall anyway.
Yeah.
"I do not recall formulating the Suicide Squad. I'm sorry."
Well, you said this was 86, 87, so the Alzheimer's was already starting to set in.
So anyway, meet the Suicide Squad: Captain Boomerang, June Moon, the Enchantress, Blockbuster, who's like this Incredible Hulk-looking dude,
Okay.
and Bronze Tiger, Deadshot, and Rick Flag.
And what the fuck are they gonna do to Brimstone, the giant nuclear monster?
Well, they're given a special gun. That
the
should
gun.
kill Brimstone.
Did Darkseid give Amanda Waller this gun?
No.
Okay.
No, you think that'd be a thing? Like, yeah, now I'll create the need for a Black Ops team of supervillains that will undermine the trust that people have in supercharacters. Nope.
Damn.
Nope. Totally unrelated.
All right.
But yeah, so Waller's like, Brimstone is headed towards Mount Rushmore, and he's gonna smash all the heads. So you got to stop him before he gets.
Yes, that's the problem here. Not that he was destroying buildings and killing
people.
No.
Oh my God, a national monument.
Yeah. And
the symbol of America.
Exactly. Yeah, that one. So what's frustrating about this issue?
Why does Brimstone even care about that?
I don't know.
Maybe Brimstone is just trying to find like-sized people.
Right.
I need to find someone my own size.
Oh, friends!
You look like Darkseid. I can talk with you.
Yeah, your
Why
giant
are
stone
you
head.
paying attention to me?
That'd be great too. If he was like yelling at them to try and like get some answers about God, that'd be something. Again,
Oh
no
my
explanation.
God, that'd be amazing.
Nope.
Or if he found them an affront to God.
Yes, they're a monument. No.
Because Alan Moore didn't write this.
Right.
If he did, that's exactly.
Yeah. They should have just called Alan Moore. I can't
But
believe
he was
it.
doing Watchmen.
That's right.
I'm sorry, why do they need the entire Suicide Squad for this? Why don't they just get Deadshot on a helicopter?
Because
they need to
Brimstone-
shoot it with a gun. That's Deadshot's thing.
Because you only have one shot.
So then the others create a
Yeah,
distraction.
but
Yeah.
doesn't Deadshot never miss?
Yeah, but it's not like a mutant power. It's just like the guy
never
never
misses because he only shoots when he's got a good shot.
Yes.
He's got to get that shot.
He's got to
set
get
up.
so you got all these other characters. So Blockbuster lifts, and he's really strong. He lifts up the ground underneath Brimstone, disrupts him. Captain Boomerang throws his boomerangs to no avail, as usual.
Yeah.
The Enchantress is using her magic to try and keep the fire that Brimstone is conjuring from burning them all alive.
Okay.
And what's it called? Blockbuster winds up getting picked up by Brimstone and just burned alive and dies. Thus continuing the trend of there's always one member of the Suicide Squad that doesn't make it.
And it was Bronze Tiger.
No, Bronze Tiger makes
sorry.
it. No,
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster. The other B. Where
Yeah. But what's great is
I'm sorry. I was entirely distracted by the bottom panels.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
what the
Oh,
fuck?
what's happening? It is incredibly distracting. Here's what's happening. The main book is happening up here. But down here, we've dedicated...
We're
Okay, so
reminding you what happened before?
we are doing a full summary by Desaad explaining what has been happening over the last 3 issues and getting you caught up to speed in the comic you're reading. So the top 2/3 of the comic are going in linear order. And so is the bottom 1/3 of the comic doing a totally separate story. So as you read, if you're reading it like this, you're like, wait, what happened?
You're wrong.
So, you read the top part, and then you go back and then start reading your comic again. And they did this in Christ on Infinite Earths as well.
See, this sucks.
So literally, if you want to catch up, you have to read the bottom, and you can't help but see the stuff up above,
Yeah.
which is spoiling
Oh
the
no,
new stuff
it's
for
great
you.
because Desaad is like, and then he unleashed Brimstone, and Brimstone dies on the same page. You're like, well, gee, I wonder what happened to him.
So how do they kill him?
They
Deadshot
shoot him.
shoots him with the gun, and that's it?
That's it.
All right.
Yeah. Captain Boomerang is like, there's no way that we were supposed to survive this fight with this big giant monster. This
This was a
horseshit.
suicide mission.
Yes.
Oh.
We were only a suicide squad.
He says that?
Yeah.
Yes! It's
And
better
yet-
than so we're some kind of suicide.
No, he doesn't say, so this is it. We're some kind of suicide
We're some
squad.
kind of
We're
suicide-
just a gangster squad right here. But,
We're a monster squad.
yeah. But what's great is Rick Flag is like, everyone on the team was deemed expendable, including me. And Boomerang's like, oh shit, well, alright, fair enough.
There you go. Yeah.
So-
So it's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't
Kinda.
die, though, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Superman and Reagan are chatting in the Rose Garden, and Superman's like, well, I gotta go. And Reagan's like, well, don't forget not to do anything. And Superman's like, okay, don't worry, I won't. And then he leaves.
Not to do anything. Can I fly?
You can fly, but you can't, like, stop crimes
Oh, no,
or save
that's,
anybody.
that's acting in the United States.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're using
You
your
also can't
powers.
breathe.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Billy Batson's having a hard time. He runs away, and he finds this family that has a girl that's around Billy's age, and her parents are like all against superheroes, but she is pro superheroes because she has the
kid.
this is a child.
She's
Yeah.
And she's got action figures too. What's with the action figures in this book? Everyone's got action figures.
Well, Darkseid sent them to torment the characters.
I mean, like, here's the thing.
It's like a motif.
It
in
is a
this book.
motif, and it's a way to like illustrate. Kenner made superpowers figures around the same time that depict these characters specifically. And I don't know about you, but I think maybe it might be a toy commercial. But
No.
2 years prior, Marvel did the same thing
Yep.
with less popular figures. So let's not like everybody's at
we're
fault
not
here.
throwing stones.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's funny is the kid's like, I love the superheroes, they're great. And the dad's like, aren't you hearing the man on the TV? And he takes her action figure and he throws it in the, like, fire in the fireplace. And
This is a little more on the nose
Yes.
than Secret Wars.
oh, yeah. No, Secret Wars is nothing. Secret Wars
It's
is
just there's
like
a bunch of characters thrown together.
Yes.
This is they're
There's
literally
action figures.
depicting action figures.
You can go buy right now on sale at your friendly local stores.
I'm
No.
amazed there's not a thing.
But-
like a commercial. She's like, wow, I can't believe we got these toys so cheap.
I know. Yes, and they're available at every department store and where fine toys are sold. But what's great is, so Billy, like, he basically has, like, PTSD. He's like, oh my god, like, I'm having flashbacks. He sees the fire, he sees the character, the action figure burning in the fire, and he's like, I burned a man alive! And then leaves, and the little girl's like, it's okay, Billy, like, you're just a little boy. He's like, no! So then,
Wait, she knows him?
no,
She knows it was
Billy
Billy.
Oh. runs in off the street, and he stays for dinner.
Oh, okay.
But what's great is, so, like, the president has signed an executive order outlawing superheroes.
Yeah.
G. Gordon Godfrey is going to become president of the United States next time. Like, Darkseid has won,
Yeah.
right? And then he decides he's going to unleash warhounds onto the Earth's populace.
Yeah,
These
because
giant
the
robotic
superheroes
dogs.
can't stop him now.
No,
You see,
but-
the way is clear for him to defeat
Right, but like,
the Earth.
you've already defeated these heroes. You're going to unleash these fucking giant evil dogs now?
Well, that was his whole plan.
Things for the superheroes to fight, but there's a sinister twist involved with the warhounds. So
Okay.
the heroes, like, they get involved. Like, some heroes decide to ignore the ban, like Black Canary and Batman.
Sure, of course.
You know, like, the Joker is messing
Good.
around. And by the way, the Joker in Legends makes friends with this punk rock chick who has a little bit of like an East Coast accent, and she and he are kind of like
A thing?
a thing.
Interesting.
And she has no clown motif. She has an 80s ne'er-do-well motif.
Okay.
She seems to like, rock music, and she cuts her hair really short, like a woman shouldn't. And, but she is all in on Joker, and I'm like, shades of Harley Quinn. That's kind of neat.
That's kind of cool.
What's hilarious is Batman shows up and he's like, "Hey, Batman, don't get me or I'll kill this chick!"
And she's immediately like, hey!
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, come on!"
We got a thing!
Yeah. And Joker's like, "You're not even supposed to be here. The president says you can't fight me." And Batman's like, "Fuck the president," punch in the face.
I never listened to Reagan anyway.
Yeah.
Well, plus Batman's like, I don't fucking have powers. So
Yeah, I'm technically not even a superhero.
I'm just a guy.
Yeah, I'm a vigilante.
Yeah.
But what's...
I operate outside the law all the time.
Yeah, what are you talking
Not only
about?
that, but like, I'm just like you. Only I do good, you do bad.
Yeah.
I just gotta notice we don't have the thing running along the bottom.
No,
anymore.
that was the last issue. We're good.
We're not. If you pick up this issue, you're on your own.
Oh, yeah. Well, we sold you! We sold you on that one.
Ah.
You're good now.
Okay.
Batman's in this one. It's okay. So, yeah. So we see the various heroes, like, and how they handle the
Right.
situation. Like, Guy Gardner fights, like, a roided-out female villain, and, what's it called? Blue Beetle fights Kronos, the time thief.
So they're still fighting people.
They're still fighting people because there's, like, there's still villains.
Right.
And villains, like, when the president went on TV and was like, "Well, don't worry, there's no more superheroes," the villain's like, "Sweet!"
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, Captain Boomerang is like, "Hey, I survived your suicide plan. I'm good. I'm free now." And
Right.
and Azrael like, "Yeah, maybe after the next one." And Boomerang's like, "That's horseshit." And Rick Flag's like, "No, that is not okay."
Right.
And he frees the Suicide Squad.
Oh, wow.
And then they leave. And then Captain Boomerang immediately goes and starts wreaking havoc. He's like, "Those superheroes are gone. Sweet boomerangs."
Wee!
Yeah, and then Flash fights him,
So-
and he's like, "Oh no," and he gets his ass kicked. Then we meet up with Dr. Fate. Oh no, Dr. Fate, blah, blah, blah. There's this guy, when he puts on the helmet that belongs to Dr. Fate, the Dr. Fate personality takes over, and the longer he's in the helmet, the more Dr. Fate takes over. It's like, oh no. Like, what will become of this poor man?
Right.
Who will take over Dr. Fate or this man? Blah.
Yeah.
So,
No one cares about the guy that Thor becomes.
no. Donald Blake, nobody gives a
Yeah,
shit about him.
Gives a shit.
Nobody cares about you. G. Gordon Godfrey is getting more and more power, and he's getting more and more influence.
Right. He's
And
on
so-
3 giant screens.
Yeah,
above
that
Times
literally
Square.
is like a visual device to illustrate just how more influential he's become.
Yeah.
His rallies are getting more and more intense, and there are more and more people going,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when he debuts like the War Dogs
He does?
or the Warhounds. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
To what? For
To what end?
stated purpose?
G. Gordon Godfrey is like, yeah, the president signed the executive order, but now he's saying that, like, I need to stop acting like the way I'm acting. Like, in another tie-in issue, the president, like, issues a arrest warrant for Godfrey because he's like,
Because he figures out that
Well-
this guy's not.
yeah, he's not. Well, he's also like he's inciting riots, and
Right.
and so he's like, and now that like the president himself wants to start like getting, he wants me to go to jail. We got to start we got to take the government back for you, the people.
People.
So
God damn it.
So he's encouraging the people
To rise up.
to rise up, and the way in which they will do that is by inhabiting the warhounds. So the warhounds are not just like mindless robot dogs. The people themselves get inside of them, and they operate the warhounds as they like fuck up the
They're
world.
like Zords.
Yeah, they're like Zords.
And they're really easy to pilot. For the first couple of weeks, they should just be like messing up entirely. Be like,
Yeah,
I
right.
can't make
I
this
get
thing
the-
walk.
I
That's
feel
super
like-
intuitive because it's advanced AI.
Yeah.
That's they're just giving general directions
Yeah,
to.
I get the feeling that the war dogs kind of, or the warhounds kind of like operate on their own, and the people are kind of like silent partners in the
See, I
experience.
kind of
Right.
figure it's the people are inside, so you can't kill them.
Well, yeah.
Or to give them
Well-
the veneer of legitimacy.
Well, no, it's so that when the superheroes like tear them up, thinking they're robots, they'll kill people.
Kill
inside.
people. Oh, make it even worse.
Yes.
So Darkseid. Okay, Darkseid's like,
See,
I'm gonna.
That's a decent plan,
I think
except
that
Superman.
the heroes are gonna keep fighting, even though they were told not to.
Yes.
So I'm gonna show people why that's
And
They
I've
can't
already
have that.
made them into criminals,
right.
so now let's make them into murderers.
Murderers as well.
So
That's
whoa,
pretty
whoa, whoa, whoa.
diabolical.
it is.
Billy Batson's already a murderer.
Exactly. Except the guy came back to life, so it doesn't matter.
Here's
But,
the flaw, though, in that the guy announced to a street filled with thousands of
Oh,
people
yeah.
this plan. So
Yeah,
would
the heroes-
superheroes have heard of it?
No.
Oh.
No.
I guess
So,
there's no, like,
they're not allowed to
watchtower,
operate.
No.
There's no, like, command and control.
They're not. There's the Justice League is under fucking
That's
rocks.
right. They buried them under rocks.
So fucking so Captain Boomerang's like laying waste the city, and then Flash shows up and he's like, "Hey, Kid Flash, dressed up like his friend, the real Flash. What's going on, man?" And so he throws a bunch of boomerangs at him, and he's not fast enough to avoid them all. And
So he's only as fast as the speed of sound.
yeah, so he gets waylaid, and that's when Changeling has a kangaroo because Captain Boomerang's Australia, and he's making fun of him.
Uh-huh.
He kicks his ass, and then Flash's like, "What the fuck, man? I'm supposed to defeat the villain on my own. This is not okay."
Oh my god.
And while
Shut up, Wally.
And then while they're complaining, the Warhounds attack, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then they all just leave, like they just run away.
They run away from the Warhound?
Yeah, because it's giant fucking robot dogs that are gonna kill them.
He's the Flash, a changeling. They should fight them.
I know.
Oh, we can't. We're not allowed to.
No,
Not
Sorry.
yet.
So then, well, now the Flash and Changeling fuck the executive order.
Oh,
Here's
so
the
they're
problem.
just afraid.
If we fought them
Yeah,
now,
it's scary.
then we'd actually kill the people inside. We can't have that happen yet.
They don't. They don't.
Well, they don't
yeah,
know
exactly.
that. Well,
They
yeah,
don't
the
know
book can't have that happen.
No.
Exactly.
So then,
So
Darkseid.
Wally is crappy. He's right.
Yeah.
To,
Oh, he's right to run.
Think of himself as
terrible.
inferior to the previous.
He is. He's not
He
fast enough.
sucks.
He's inexperienced and he's not fast enough.
Yeah.
So
They
wait.
nerfed him. So what's he supposed to do?
Exactly.
Well, the editors nerfed my powers. How am I supposed to fight these Warhounds?
Yeah. So Darkseid then is like, okay, now step 9 of
Right,
my
of
plan,
course.
and he opens a boom tube, and then he shoots Superman with his Omega beams,
Oh.
and then brings Superman to Apokolips, and then brainwashes him into being an agent of Apokolips,
What?
so that he can then unleash Superman onto the Earth and like show that he's betrayed them. But that all happens in a Superman tie-in, so seemingly Superman doesn't do anything in the story. So then
What?
that's literally it. It's a 3-part Superman story where
You can't
Superman
put that
goes to
shit in the
Apokolips.
tie-in?
That's in the tie-in. Superman is not really in this book. Literally, if you read Legends all on its own,
Oh my
Superman goes to the White House. Reagan's like, "Well, you can't do anything," and he's like, "Yes, sir."
And then he fucks off.
And then he
Yeah,
disappears.
and then he doesn't do anything. He seemingly like sleeps in the Lincoln bedroom until the executive order is lifted, and then he acts. But in reality, he goes to Apokolips.
There is an explanation.
Yes, and it's just in another book.
Wow, it's totally different. Your interpretation of what's happening
Yeah.
with Superman is completely different.
It's
than
by
what the
your
tie-in.
experience reading.
Yeah,
it.
don't
but getting
know how to fucking do
brainwashed by
tie-ins.
Darkseid
No.
is not that great.
No,
Oh
it's
no,
horrible.
that sucks.
No, it's like he's reprogrammed. It's horrible. But
I
he's
mean-
he's rescued by like Orion and stuff. So it's,
Yeah.
but it's a whole thing.
It's at least consistent with Darkseid's overall plan. It's not like totally random.
No, it's seemingly random because nobody writes comics like this anymore.
Right.
But it's
But
all
from
part.
Darkseid's perspective,
Yeah.
it's a coherent.
But and like I said, like it seems like there's many plots, but it's all just one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So Billy and the little girl are like hiding from the monsters, and then like a building gets broken and she gets knocked unconscious, and Billy's like, "Okay, that's enough. We're feeling sorry for myself." Shazam becomes Captain Marvel, and because he has the wisdom of Solomon as part of his powers,
Oh right.
because he was a little boy and afraid of using his powers, he didn't get access to like all the powers that make him Captain Marvel. The wisdom of Solomon gives him the insight into what's happening, and now he knows that like everyone's being
Manipulated.
brainwashed and manipulated, and so he knows the plan.
God damn it.
So he's just got to go defeat this guy Godfrey.
Yeah.
And that'll fix everything. Is that
More or less.
okay?
But before that happens, he is then plucked out of time and space,
Oh.
seemingly by no one. He just disappears.
It better not be Phantom Stranger.
Is there another tie-in that
No,
explains that?
no,
Okay.
the book's out. But
No.
like we get a. But what's great is we see like all these superheroes who are like fuck the executive order and just doing their own thing,
Sure.
and they get plucked out of nowhere. Like
All of them?
yeah, Guy Gardner gets taken, Blue Beetle gets taken, Batman gets taken, Captain Boomerang winds up getting caught by the angry mob,
Oh.
by Godfrey's mob.
Yeah?
And then, because, like, he was like, "I'm not working for the Suicide Squad, fuck this, I'm a free agent," immediately gets, like, almost defeated by a Teen Titan. And then gets defeated by regular people and gets, like, and he's going to be, like, slaughtered in effigy, but, like, and made example of by Godfrey and his zealots.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
What's it called? Dr. Fate's the guy who takes everybody.
Oh, okay.
And meanwhile, Superman's chatting with Reagan again, and
This is after he gets back from being brainwashed?
yes,
So he's no
Okay.
longer brainwashed.
so he's no longer he's back to normal. No, the whole thing happens in a thing over there.
Okay.
So then we watch...
So if you didn't read that for now, you're like, finally, Superman's trying to at least
yes, like
talk to someone.
exactly.
Okay.
Godfrey knows about the Suicide Squad, and he wants
How?
because he's an agent of Darkseid. Darkseid has the magic mirror.
Oh, right.
So Godfrey is going to use Captain Boomerang to reveal that the government is enlisting villains to accomplish goals. So in fact, the Suicide Squad was kind of originated as like part of Darkseid's nefarious scheme.
Yeah.
But
Like when their superheroes are gone, they'll have to turn to their
To the super
villains.
villains.
Yeah.
And then they'll look real bad with the press.
yeah, and so
right.
Amanda
And when
Waller,
the government's destroyed, then I win.
Yeah.
Well, the American government is destroyed.
only that one though. And what's great is
Because I don't care about anybody else.
Waller's watching on TV and she goes, "Well, squad, time to go assassinate Captain Boomerang
Yes.
before he says anything."
Yep.
And so Godfrey sets up on the Lincoln Memorial, of course. And then Dr. Fate shows up and he blinks in all the heroes
Yep.
and
He doesn't blink out Godfrey?
No. Which is like weird. Just kill
Like,
that
no,
guy.
he must be defeated.
Yes, he has to be defeated in front of the eyes of all these people.
Yes.
So the heroes are all amassed. The legends, if you will, of DC.
The
are,
ones who should be in the Justice League.
yes,
And
but,
Blue Beetle.
yeah,
Chainsaw.
and Blue. Yes, and so here they are, and he's presenting them to them, and Darkseid is like, this is looking bad. And Phantom Strange's like, oh, look a little hot on the collar there, old Darkseid. What's going to happen? Meanwhile, this is all being broadcast on TV. Robin is in the hospital.
It's like a traction.
Yeah, and he sees it happening. And he goes, I can't sit this fight out. If it's the end of everything,
What?
then I better do something. So then he puts on his Robin costume.
And he hobbles out.
And he hobbles out of
It's
there.
a full leg cast.
Yep.
And an arm cast.
And an arm cast.
And he's on a crutch.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, you're going to do a lot, Robin.
Don't
I guess
worry.
he's in the same city where this is happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. DC. So, for no reason. No.
I guess that's where he was beat up, because that's
I
where
think
the
he was
mob
in Gotham.
was. Oh.
Doesn't make any sense. In any case.
I tried to help. Okay.
I'm sorry. Robin goes off on a side mission that we'll see at the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh.
the heroes are all there, and then Martian Manhunter shows up as the only remaining member of the Justice League who didn't get themselves out of the fucking rubble.
And
he's
who
like,
wasn't, he didn't do anything the entire time.
no, he was under rocks the entire time. Then he shows up, he's like, I'm here too.
Even though he can be incorporeal.
I made it up for one of the rocks. My friends did not. They're all dead.
They didn't die, but they also, like, sat this fight out.
Yeah, they're in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know,
so
they decided to take a break.
Yeah. So then they unleash the Warhounds, and so the the hero, the Legends.
Yeah.
They're not the Justice League.
Legends. Yeah.
The Justice League was defeated by a falling building.
I think
Legends.
that automatically strips you of your Justice League
Yeah.
member.
Yeah, if you are defeated by debris, you are no longer a member of the Justice League. So, and really, you never were in the first place.
Yeah.
So, the Legends battle with the Warhounds, and that's when they discover that there are people in there, and that's when Darkseid pulls the most boneheaded move of all. He invades the Earth with parademons.
Making it clear who was behind everything and why
And
you need.
he allows the heroes to then go and be heroic, defeating an enemy that can be, like, slaughtered.
Well, he
before.
sensed his moment was being lost.
I guess, yeah.
So he's
And
like,
he-
well, I have to
it's a-
attack
just a
now. if I have any
desperate
chance.
move.
Yep. Just a
Yeah,
last
that is the worst
ditch.
move. Because this isn't subterfuge anymore. This doesn't make the heroes look bad.
No.
Yeah.
No, he literally hands the heroes their opportunity to be heroic.
Yeah.
Because before, the heroes were fighting the Warhounds. And there are people in there.
Yeah.
You
but,
could still fuck
but
up.
they figured out
That
there
there
are
are people
people
in
in
there.
there.
Oh, yeah.
So then he might have been, oh, jig's up, they know there's people in there.
Parademons!
No!
A flying parademon snatches Dr. Fate's helmet and leaves. And so, like...
Oh. What, is that bad? Does he need the helmet?
Yeah, like, he needs his helmet in order to be Dr. Fate, but he's still got, like, a little bit of residual Dr. Fate power left.
Okay.
So he, like, bails.
So then he leaves.
He just
Yeah.
leaves.
And
He
then-
blows ass and leaves.
Yeah. Boomerang's gonna get, like, assassinated by the
Yeah,
by the Suicide Squad.
yeah.
And Rick Flag is like, "Don't kill him! Come on!" And Deadshot's like, "Come on!" She said
She said to kill him.
She said dead or alive.
That was her mission. He
And not
sucks.
only that, you came with us. You
Yeah.
were the...
Yeah, but now the heroes are there, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Fly's
yeah.
like, no, you don't need to kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "No, let's see what happened. Like, let's
Let's let this play out.
yeah." So, like, what's it called? Bronze Tiger jumps in, and like Rick Flag takes out Captain Boomerang, and they clean up their own mess.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Batman like beats the shit out of some like really aggressive protesters who all have like assault weapons as well. And I love this moment where
They're like acolytes of
Yeah.
Godfrey.
Well, like it's great. Batman has the cool has one of the best Batman moments in this whole thing Because Batman, like, he just comes out of nowhere and kicks these guys' ass, and someone, like, absently says, he ain't human, you know, that kind of thing. They always say that.
Yep.
And then, like, one of them's like, shoot him! And then Batman, like, covers himself with his cape, which I guess resists bullets. And he says, nice try, but like your friend said, I'm not human. And,
Interesting.
And, like, scares the shit out of
That's awesome, yeah.
And then Wonder Woman shows up.
Oh, yay! Where's she been?
The entire time.
This is her debut in the new DC continuity. We've never seen Wonder Woman before in this reality, and out of nowhere, Wonder Woman shows up and then breaks a Warhound. And Guy Gardner's the first Justice League member to run into her, and he's like, what up, babe? And starts, like, ogling her, and she's like, Jesus.
This is why I don't come to Earth.
Yeah.
Or rather, the part of it.
In the new continuity they're establishing, none of them know her.
Nope.
So they're just totally changing her origin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first superhero to ever meet Wonder Woman is Guy Gardner.
And he looks like a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is drawn like a villain.
Yep.
Can I just say, I've never really paid attention to Guy Gardner before.
That's only because he's a dick.
He looks like Doc Ock.
He does.
Like,
Well,
look
because
at
of his
him.
bowl cut.
Yeah, that's the bowl cut.
But his face is all like...
Yeah.
He sneers.
He sneers.
As
Well,
if,
that's
like,
the thing.
the artists are trying to say, like, he
Don't trust this
sucks.
guy.
This guy is a pile of crap.
He
That's
does
what they're trying to
become
say.
a Red Lantern.
Yeah, but then he re-becomes a Green Lantern. Like, he's always trying... The thing is, at the end of the day, at the core of Guy Gardner's character, he is a good person. He puts on a veneer of being a dick, but in truth, he is worthy of being a Lantern.
Right.
But then the White House is invaded by, like, terrorists who are part of Gordon Godfrey's bullshit.
Oh, yes.
And they're gonna assassinate the president.
Sure.
And he, like, gets shot in the stomach, and the bullets bounce right off of him.
Oh my god, Reagan really was a robot!
And then he kicks their ass, and then it turns out his Martian Manhunter was impersonating Reagan.
Oh, it was a trap.
Yeah. And,
Alright, that's cool.
So, Superman
Well,
and Captain
thank
Marvel...
you very much, Mr. Manhunter, but you're under arrest.
Yeah, you still, but my executive order is still
No, he
in
lifts
effect.
the executive order around this time.
Okay.
But then all the legends, like, come together.
Yep.
And they've defeated the parademons, but the people are still under Gordon Godfrey's spell. And so they're encircled by this mob.
Okay.
And Godfrey's like, you gotta kill the heroes! You gotta do it! And Darkseid's like, look, Phantom Stranger, behold my victory.
It's still gonna work out after all this.
Yeah, after all this, I even fucked it up,
I
and it
totally
still
fucked
worked
it up.
out. Nope, that was part of my plan too. Almost fucking it up? Nope, I just wanted to let them think they were gonna win, and then I did. And then, the girl who helped Billy Batson and Robin and all the children break free of the mob, and then talk some sense into the adults. And then Gordon Godfrey grabs the little girl, and he, like, punches her in the face.
Yes!
And everyone goes, what the hell are you doing? You just punch that little girl in the face! And then Godfrey's
I had
like...
to stop her from screaming.
And then Godfrey's like, okay, it may look bad now, but I did steal from a passerby parademon the helmet of Dr. Fate, which will amplify my powers. And he puts it on, and then, like, Dr. Fate within the helmet, like, wipes his mind.
Oh.
And what's great is the people are all, like, put back to normal.
Right.
And, like, Bronze Tiger's like, well, time for me to get the fuck out of here. He bails. Wonder Woman's like, yeah, and I'm here too. And then all the heroes are basically like...
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Well, then Dr. Fate's like, okay, so... The Justice League was defeated by falling rocks. Sounds like we need a real Justice League. And so he's like, I was not there before. I'm forming a new Justice League. I think he was also... Was he in the Justice League before?
Fate?
No.
No.
While I was not on the Justice League before, I by the power vested in me by being here, I declare there is a new Justice League. Who here wants to join? And Batman's like, me. Martian Manhunter's like, I was on the old team, yes. Guy Gardner's like, yeah, I want to do that. Black Canary joins. Captain Marvel joins. Blue Beetle joins. And what's it called? Flash says, nah.
What?
Changeling.
Because he's still not sure that
he's
he can...
still... And Changeling's like, I'm a Titan, but if you guys want to join the Titans, you're welcome to join me. And then they all fucking, like, laugh at him.
Well, yeah, no.
And Superman... and then Superman looks at the Justice League and goes, nah.
Oh.
and
Wow.
then leaves. And
What
then
about Wonder Woman? Does she say she'll be on it?
no.
No, she doesn't answer.
No.
I guess they don't know who
They
she
don't
is.
even know who
so
she is.
Fate's not gonna.
Yeah. But then the legends all stand around for a picture that nobody takes. And Phantom Stranger says, "See, I knew it the whole time. Behold the legends." Anyway, we'll see you guys next week with another episode of Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week.